NBC Sports Peter King joining the Rich Eisen show, Kirk Morrison filling in for Rich. And Peter, I remember seeing Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think a couple years ago. I was down at Tampa Bay Buccaneers training camp, and he's one of my old teammates, my quarterback when I was with the Buffalo Bills. And I said, Ryan, we're the same draft class. Why are you still playing? Like, what? He's like, Kirk, I keep trying to retire, but they keep dragging me out of retirement. He's like, I can't turn down this kind of money. And I say that because the Miami Dolphins signed Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I'm thinking, is this for real, or is this a situation where they need a placeholder for right now to kind of get this team turned over and they're looking almost not toward the 2019 season, but what could be ahead in 2020? Basically, Peter, that's my way of them saying that this is an easier way to say that we're not tanking, but we're actually tanking. Like, what's the deal with the signing of Fitzpatrick to Miami?
I mean, it's almost like he was the last competent quarterback left standing. And what choice did the Miami Dolphins really have? But, I wrote this Monday in my column, Kirk, that, if you got to be careful with this because I desperately am against tanking.
Right.
I think it's stupid. I think it's an insult to the people who pay money to go to your games. I live in New York. I don't know how much a ticket to see the Knicks costs, but I assume it's a monstrous amount of money. And basically, the Knicks are putting a product out on the floor that, if you gave James Dolan sodium pentothal, he would say, I hope we lose. And I want to get the first pick in the draft because I want Zion Williamson. It's a heinous, ridiculous way to operate. However, the one thing that the Miami Dolphins have to be concerned with more than everything else is getting their long-term quarterback of the future. Let's say they don't think they can get Kyler Murray, and I don't think they can. And let's say that either they don't love Dwayne Haskins or they don't think they can get him, and they're not in love with any of these other guys. They, whoever, Daniel Jones, whatever it is.
Right.
So let's say all those things are the case. Then the Miami Dolphins need to make sure that whether it's in free agency, unlikely, or the draft in 2020, they're in the best possible position to get the best quarterback they can. And that, to me, has to be their first, second, and third goal of the 2019 season because in the NFL, you're never going to win unless you have a highly competitive quarterback. So that's what I wonder about right now with Miami. Did Miami go a little bit soft on Teddy Bridgewater because they weren't really sure about him because I don't know how you can be. He hasn't played in a while, and even when he played, I didn't know if he was a franchise quarterback. So did they go a little soft on Bridgewater because they weren't convinced about him, or because they don't? Why would they want to go 7-9? I mean, that just puts them further away from getting their quarterback next year. So at some point, you got to bite the bullet and say, we're going to do everything we can to get our quarterback in the next 2 years. I believe that's Miami's biggest goal right now.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.